Hey guys, so shields are not in this prototype cycle. I already know one or two people that will lose their shields before this cycle runs out because they didn't preemptively build one just in case. And it's been announced by Drew that next week will also not contain proto or shields, which will make it so every player has at least 5 days, I think. Yeah, at least 5 days with no shields, unless they saved one like beyond, like into this week already. So I have a few opinions about it that I wanted to talk to you about. But first, I'm going to flip over to, if you know I'm Comeback, Wong, he's in Korea, Boom Beach, YouTube. I'll link to him in a card here. This is a playlist of his from when HQ20 was max. He pushed VP and made it to number 2 back then. And he has examples of really, really great heavy Zuka attacks. So these are a couple examples of what it might look like this coming week. So I'll just play this while I talk to you. I think that taking shields out is a really, really bad and short-sighted idea for VP pushing for the game as a whole. First off, Drew was talking a lot about how he thinks it'll be interesting to see what people how people react to it, which is fine, except it's been done for like the 2 years I was playing before they added shields. And what Arlay communicated was that shields was an emergency fix because it was so bad. Everything was heavy Zuka. There was no real metagaming. There was no like changing what troops you use based on the circumstances. No real thought. It was just everybody raiding everybody with heavy Zuka all the time, no matter what. And it'll be interesting to switch back to that again, but shields are there for a reason, and just wanting to see more of what we saw for the whole time before shields came doesn't really make sense to me. If you look at his statues, sometimes he has like partial boosts. He's not actually doing full on boosting. Like you can see here, he only has 3 statues boosted. Like no troop health boost. The only thing is sometimes he needs a GBE Guardian, and there's a GBE Tri boost right now, and cheap critters. So like that not only are they taking away shields, but this is an awful time to do it because they also made a lot of changes to just make it even easier. Heroes like Brick can make it so you're 25% sloppier and still do the same damage as you used to be able to at HQ20. Not counting like the Zuka upgrade you can do at HQ21 and all that stuff. Just heroes themselves, and tribes made it even easier right now. So like my issue is that back then it was everybody rated everybody pretty much no matter what, and it was just a game of who was online more, who was able to use whatever tactics they had to keep people from raiding them, like because they were friends or something like that. And everyone had teams of players playing on one account just so they could be online 24/7, so they never had a bad radar spawn rate because everybody rated everybody, so you couldn't advance by just defending. It didn't work. And that's really because the challenge is not there without shields. Heavy Zuka is the strongest by a lot, like by a ton in this game, and shields were really the only way you can combat that when they're gone. Even for 3 offense, even potentially less, it's not that much of a challenge. Like, I'm not trying to take away anything from the replays I'm showing you now. They're really very, very talented execution of strategy. He's a really amazing player, but these are bases that are designed specifically to be anti-Heavy Zuka, and they have 7 boosted ice. Like, everything is just stop Heavy Zuka, and he's still rating them with Heavy Zuka and 3 offense with 1 to 2 statues boosted. Like, and my biggest problem with that is that it's like, the reason I love pushing VP and doing stuff like this is because it's an awesome puzzle to try to dissect bases and figure out how to beat them, trying a few different times, coming up with different plans with different troops, and having it be this dramatically easier like it will be without shields takes that away. It's not fun when you can just raid everybody. You can see he's barely failing. Like, it's going to be so much easier, so you won't get the whole like challenge puzzle experience. And on top of that, if you are pushing VP, you're going to go backwards. Like, nobody at the top and probably a long, long way down, everybody's going to fall backwards. And I can't tell you how frustrating it is to invest a ton of time, a decent amount of money in diamonds or whatever, spend a whole bunch of powder on ice statues and everything, and then go backwards. It feels like you're taking crazy pills almost. Like, I'm spending 30 powder a day and buying diamonds once a week, and I'm online like 4+ hours a day, and I lost 10 VP this week. Like, it's really, really frustrating, and that's going to take a lot of fun out of the game for a lot of players who are competing to better their score. Talking about scores, the number 1 spot is really not tangible for players who don't have, I'm going to actually just say, some unfair strategies to get there. So really, from what I've seen, the most tangible metric for accomplishment is ranks, and doing stuff like this, I mean, somewhat, the temporary GBE abilities and offensive tribes and stuff like that does this, but shields will be a whole nother level. Doing stuff like this like takes away the opportunity to get some of these metrics. Like, I had to quit before I got my next rank because cryo bombs came out, a GBE tribe came out, and shields are going to go away. So I can't get there because of these offensive boosts when I was so close. As soon as they came out, I started getting rated 14, 17 plus times every day, and it was impossible for me to progress. And that was pretty similar for most people I talked to, that you go backwards during periods like this. So it's really, I don't think it's a good idea to do stuff that like purposely hurts people's ultimate scores and keeps them from getting a certain accomplishment that's completely out of their control. Finally, I can talk about this more in another video, but there are unfair tactics out there to keep people from rating you, and making it so everybody can rate everybody else makes it so the people doing those benefit more, because more people are rating those not doing it, and the people who are doing it have more of an opportunity to prevent what would be VP loss because of that. So I'm sure there's more I'm forgetting. Let me know your thoughts on stuff like this, what you think about them taking away shields, if you think it's a good idea or not, what you would do. I don't think there's any way to stop this, but hopefully they try it once and get it out of their system, because just from my personal bias perspective, it's really unbelievably frustrating to have stuff like this happen while you're trying to push yourself. It's like if they announced a tribe where it's like, hey, just so you know, guys, every day this week, your task force is going to lose like 2% of their force points. And the people who are higher up, it's going to affect them more because they have more. So have fun, you know. So let me know your thoughts, how you think this next week is going to go with no shields at all. I'll catch you next time. Until then, my name's Ryan. This is the PSC Life. Happy booming.